What stood out to you now that you've been 4 days? I know really 3.5 days with this team. What's standing out the most?
Just getting that chemistry, getting our flow down, when we're running through 5-on-0 or offense or, shell defense, just getting our communication and rhythm.
Expectation versus reality, how does it match up?
Pretty close.
Yeah?
It's fun. It's pretty close. High IQ guys that really know how to play the game. That's what I expected, and that's the reality.
Has there been any challenges for you in learning the system, or has it been as seamless as it seems?
No, it's good. It's not too hard. It's just really terminology. Everybody's kind of running similar things, having similar concepts. It's just terminology may change. So just getting that lingo down is the main thing.
What's been the most fun part for you?
Just watching plays unfold, watching actions unfold, watching the communication and how that unravels, and just feeling like you're on the same page as the other 4 guys on the court, and hoping that carries over and we build on that.
What stood out to you about the second unit when you've gone against them?
They compete. They compete hard. They got guys that can score, shoot, pick up, guard. They're pretty talented. That's a really good group of 5 right there.
What have you seen from Christian Brown so far in training camp?
He's just always in the right spot. He plays hard. He defends hard. He lingers around the basket, cuts, knocking down shots. But the main thing is that he has a knack of getting to the right spot.
What's the best way to get acclimated to a new team in your first training camp? What have you learned kind of over the years?
Ask questions when you got them. Talk to people. And try to compete. Try to, just kind of dive in head first. And, there's going to be some ups and downs and some things that, you might hear the wrong thing or read the wrong thing. But, just know that it'll all iron itself out.
Has there been a young guy that stood out, like right now? And, what are some of the things that they're doing?
Pickett has done a good job of kind of controlling the second and third units when he gets in there and competing. But for the most part, everybody, has been really good in camp and doing their job and doing what's asked of them, whether it's knocking down shots or playing defense or rebounding. Young guys have come in and paid attention to detail, which is big.
How would you describe the culture that you walked into now that you've had 3.5, 4 days on the court with them?
A group of guys that care about each other and are committed to winning.
How long does it usually take you with the terminology adjustments? What's kind of the natural timeline of just committing it to sort of instinct, I guess, where you don't have to think about
It's pretty quick. It's pretty quick. It's just a matter of getting out there and playing and actually hearing it. You go over it, you see it on the sheets, you go over it slow, but then you get out there and, the first time we call X play or X defensive coverage, you hear it and you process it, and then over time it gradually just picks up from there until it becomes instinct, second nature.
Has Nikola thrown a pass or done anything yet in this camp that's made you do a double take?
He threw one at me that was pretty unexpected the other day. I kind of bobbled it too. I felt bad, but everybody's like, "Hey, get used to it," and I'm like, "I'll take it. But it's just, it's a lot of the no-look ones where his body's kind of turned and he goes the opposite way. That is going to be really, really cool to get some good looks off of that.
Thank you, Kim. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
Obviously, a light practice. Was there anything you guys went over specific today, or just getting ready for the game?
We just added some things, scripted them so they know what they're doing. Low SOB situations. Went through checklist stuff for the season, late game situations. But yeah, it's very light. But you have to, stay consistent with what you're working on. A little pick and roll defense, and then we did some scripts, and the guys are really good, and all those things. And being consistent and how efficient you are during the season, it's a good way to practice what it's going to be like, in the doldrums of January and February. So they were good today.
If there's a player that's returning from last season that has a role that's meaningfully different than the one they had last year, is there a single player, and who would it be?
I can't tell yet. Early in camp, Peyton Watson's really stood out, but that's 3 days of live action with a very light get up and down practice. So really good challenge tomorrow, not just because their starters are really good, but they're deep. And, so a lot of guys will play against bona fide NBA rotation players, regardless of how many minutes the starters play on both teams. So that's the good thing about playing a team like that. We play them way too much, to be honest. But it's, so those guys get a chance to prove it. away from playing against their own teammates.
Regardless of like minutes, I even mean it sounds like Peyton Watson. You talk about him handling the ball a lot. That would be a departure from previous seasons. So like the style that's being requested, do you feel it's meaningfully different?
It has been. I think he's always been a guy we've looked at to bring it up in out of timeout plays, to initiate offense. So he's always had the ability. But you can see that he's sharpened it, and that responsibility. We'll see if it goes there. If it does, he's shown that he can do it, and that would help our second unit when he flows with our first unit. It's nice to have another guy that can rebound the ball and push it, but not just push it, but make good decisions when he crosses half court. So give Pete credit. He's had a really good mentality about him all 4 days. That has to continue when things don't go well. And that'll be the challenge for our team. There'll be nights where we play different kinds of lineups, different styles of basketball. Are you patient enough to know that your turn's coming next?
Just talk to Julian. What have you seen from him so far, and what do you want to see from him in the preseason?
Just be himself. Julian's a scorer. I think the next step for him is to make plays for others. When the defense collapses, he's one of the guys that we have that can find the paint. And when you find the paint, it can't just always be a shot. We know what he can do, shooting the floater and all those things, but that group's got a lot of talent. Valanciunas rolling on the rim, shooting on the backside. So that'll be the next step for him. And he's really attempting to defend better. I think what helps that is he's gotten stronger. He had a great offseason in that sense. So, all those guys can be the same thing. It's just who flows well together. It's not the individual, it's the group always.
How much could you see more drop with Jokic factoring into some of the defensive variety that you've talked about?
Yeah, there's so many levels of drops. He won't be just at the rim like he's Gobert, but it's just looking for maybe a little more of down the floor, a couple steps down the floor. And more so, I think what we're trying to create with him, he's so high IQ, is the Marc Gasol model, where he's choosing his levels depending on the quality of player, what the player does well. So we all know his IQ is so high, but we have to work on that and allow him to work on it in practice.
With all the change abound, is it nice to have a young player like Christian where you kind of know what to expect day in, day out?
Yeah, Christian doesn't, we've always said this, even when he's a rookie, he doesn't feel like he's that age. He's a professional player beyond his years. It was fun to watch those guys run script today, the 5-on-0. They flowed so well together with Cam out there and the other four. And Christian's part of that. Like, there's just a real understanding of what am I good at? How do I make the group better, even in a practice setting like this?
In training camp, having a guy like Big Val, do you think that challenges Jokic in these type of situations?
Yeah, he's a real center that's been good for a long time. And it's been nice to have Moses, to have a guy that's of that height. It's Valanciunas is Jonas is such a big guy. It's nice to have Moses. We have three real centers. And then you have a Zeke and Duran and guys that can slide to the 5, AG, and challenge the centers to guard people that can spread the floor. So it's a really good camp roster for a lot of reasons. And, Jonas is a special player. He has been a good player for a very long time.
Touch on this a little bit, but what's the plan in terms of availability and rotations tomorrow and throughout the preseason with the games?
Yeah, as far as I know, everybody's available. And I think because our schedule the way it is, playing tomorrow, most likely off of the travel day, playing again, most likely off the next day, you'll see our guys play. I think it's important. It's almost like a practice for them. We went light today for that reason. And then we'll get back at it next week, where it's almost like a second training camp with the 4 days off.
How much of these defensive changes are about the postseason only versus the regular season? Or you try to make it work for both? Where was your mind when you were kind of crafting this?
Yeah, we looked at the whole season. Sometimes you get some, games that don't really matter because you're just getting up and down. So the playoffs do give you a real framework of what worked and what didn't. And so I do look at those games as something to build off, not to mention we tried different stuff during those games, the last 3 games of the season into the playoffs, and some of it didn't work, and some of it did. And so let's capitalize on that. And you could tell the guys believed in it, and their belief is more important than all the ideas I can come up with. It's about them and what they say, all right, we're going to do this, we're going to do it hard, and they have so far. Thanks, Chris.
Tell me, so how's camp gone for you, and what stands out about the group so far?
Camp's been going real well. We got a bunch of super high-level guys, which is always fun to, just have under one roof and, get to compete against each other. And I'm just super excited about what this group can accomplish.
What part of your game are you most want to highlight with the group? Like, is there anything you're emphasizing when you're playing?
For me, it's just being a solid, dependable player. I mean, that's the main thing that I want to accomplish is, be someone that Coach Adelman can, put in and rely on. Just cut down on mistakes and, be more sound on defense.
Tell me about what excites you with that second unit so far in camp.
I feel like we just gel real well. I feel like the energy's super high. We're all super excited to play with each other. And then, there's just so many great players that can do so many great things. So I'm excited to see that grow, and I think we got to do something special with that bench.
How would you describe just how big Jonas Valanciunas plays and what he does for that group?
It's huge to have someone, as dominant. He's just a dominant presence, and his ability to score in the low post kind of take pressure off us guys if we're getting hounded on the perimeter. So I'm super excited to play with him, especially, coming off them screens, getting wide open off them.
Christian Braun seems like the kind of guy that brings the same approach every day. What have you seen from him in this camp, despite all the changes?
Yeah, exactly that. CB's been CB. Every single time he's out here, he's gonna make an impact, a winning impact. He make winning plays. He's confident right now. He's shooting the ball well. So, I'm super excited to see the growth he makes.
So much of training camp is about building bonds. How much does being in San Diego, the beach, kind of help with that?
It helped a ton. We get to go have lunch outside on the patio, and we're all gonna kick it out there and talk for a while. And everybody said that the vibe is just high when you're in San Diego. The weather's good. It's beautiful outside. So I feel like it all attributes to what we're trying to accomplish.
How are you seeing all the work that you put in this summer in the gym in Denver pay off so far?
In all facets of my game, I feel stronger. I feel more confident in my game, and I'm kind of just letting things come as they are. I'm not trying to force anything. I just want to be a sound player this year.
What about Peyton? Where are you seeing him come along?
He's taking a leap in just about every facet, it looked like, and his mentality and his approach to the game is the main thing I think that stands out to me. He's being super aggressive and he's being vocal, and I'm super happy to see that, and I think we're gonna need it this year.
You was here last year when they were practicing, and this year having Big Val out there to compete with Jokic in these practices, is that an iron sharpens iron type of situation, or what is that been like?
For sure. Those two guys have been going at it all camp, and it's good to see them, not just take it easy on each other, but actually go out and try to score and challenge each other on offense and defense, on the glass, everything. So it's been great.
Adelman keeps talking about competing. Everybody has to compete because there's so many good players. Like, what is that? What is that like? What does that mean when he's saying the practices are very competitive?
I feel like it's literally just rolling the ball out there, keeping score against 5 other guys that are really good. So, that's been the main thing. And then in terms of, just guys competing for spots, I feel like that's one of them things we're just letting it play out because we know we're going to be a great team. So we're not too worried about that. And that's something that we'll hash out over the next 5 preseason games.
Going against the starters like you have, where would you say they're at?
They look pretty sharp. They look real sharp. Looks like they've been playing with each other all summer. So, that's great. But we know we got the best starting 5 in the league, and we know that. So I feel like, emphasis is on just being a stronger bench unit for them.
Does the system feel a little more organized just with the bench and with the second unit right now, maybe just as a result of the personnel?
For sure. Being able to have guys and slot them at positions, it has been real easy. I feel like in the past, it's just been a lot of questions of, who's going to be in that lineup or who's going to be on the floor with you when you're out there. So, we've been pretty organized with that, and that's helped it.
Awesome. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Joey.